Hi guys, Mew2King
and a Salem.
And today we're going to be going over the mid and high tiers in Super Smash Bros Brawl. And we're going to start with Pokemon Trainer. Now, Pokemon Trainer is an interesting case because usually you would think that, the combination of the 3 Pokemon, just like an Ultimate, would be better than just the Pokemon individually. But in this game, it's not quite the case, and that's for multiple reasons. One, Ivysaur and Charizard are horrendous characters. Squirtle's the only good one, and Squirtle alone would actually be better than if it was if Squirtle was alone and didn't have something called Fatigue, which I'll go over in a second. It would be significantly better than if it was the 3 Pokemon. But unlike Ultimate, you have to be on the ground to switch Pokemon, and it takes like freaking almost a second to switch. And then the characters get tired after like a minute or something. It might even be sooner, which means their moves deal less knockback, and it might even be less damage. I don't remember. Squirtle pretty much hard carries the character.
Pokemon Trainer is just weird just because of fatigue. And because of fatigue, you actively have to, like, every now and then be like, oh, I need to actually switch characters, but I also need to think of a way to survive long enough. Because the second you switch to Ivysaur, you're going to want to get off of Ivysaur immediately. Depending on the stage, for example, if you're on Smashville, you could get on the Smashville platform and down B, and then it would just like, it was like a weird glitch where it's like your down B becomes slightly more safe. Not because the platform moving in particular, it's just your character gets dropped off in a set spot. So it would be a little bit more safe than usual. But besides that, it was just like, okay, well, I want to switch, but I can't without getting punished.
And the next character we have is Ike. Now, Ike was pretty much the king of the low-tier tournaments for a very long time. I even used to use Ike, and I pretty much just abused spacing forward air. Just use smash attacks to kill it like 80%. And you had a jab, which could also jab cancel by just pressing, I think you just press down.
Yeah.
And the jab itself did like 16-point-something damage, and you could also jab cancel to do like jab 1, jab 1, jab 1 into like other moves. All your smash attacks were good. Pretty much all your aerials were really good. Like forward air, back air, up air, they all killed, had good range. Just good shield stun on your smash attacks and kill power. Really good side B that you can use in the ground, use in doubles, use to recover. He just was a really solid character. It's just that I just don't think he's I'm not sure if he's too low or not, but it's real. This whole tier is like a lot of characters are really close together. Ike might be slightly higher than this, but if he is, it's not by a lot. But I have him placed around here. And Sam could talk more about Ike, but yeah.
His jab was kind of destroying it. It looks like a normal jab, and you're just like looking at it being like, oh yeah, that doesn't have that much range.
It's like the best jab in the game.
Yeah, it's the best jab in the game. He's just like, 1. And you're just like, wait, this was extra disjointed. And then he'll be like,
super,
1.
Dude, it's like you have like you know how Sheik's fair and melee is disjointed?
Yes.
It's like one of those. It's like one of those things. So, it's like way bigger than it looks.
And then it's like he does 1, 2, and you're just like, okay, it was a much better move than I thought. And he could just mix that up as well. He had jab walk, which is like if you press A once and then hold A on the second jab, he goes back into his first jab. As long as you're not hitting anything. So essentially, you could jab walk and be like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you would go across the stage. So you could essentially use it as like an active hitbox moving towards your opponent a little bit. Ike had things like back throw dash attack, which was like the staple Ike thing, because it just straight up gets you off stage and you're just like, okay, well, I'm gone. As well, you could just sometimes miss DI or like miss tech, and then she's like, you get back throw dash attacked anyway. He was the very unique character to be like, oh, my up B has super armor, which is like, it's nice. He had quite a few movement options with side B. Like, for example, there was this one glitch with his side B where once you go and land, auto cancel it in a way, you could press down B and it would stutter his slide for a second, and he would slide even further with a counter. So essentially, you could do weird things like you could full hop charge side B slightly, auto cancel it, counter, and B reverse it, and slide backwards. So it was like, he had really cool obscure things that was like, it made no sense, but it's like, oh, he has a bunch of movement options, low key.
So next character will be Kirby. So Chudette, obviously, best Kirby in the world. If you want to learn Kirby, just watch Chudette, but Kirby, in a nutshell, is back air the character and smash attack. Kirby's back air was super, super good in this game. He also had a really good up air and a very good and very powerful forward smash. There's also something called planking where you can camp the ledge over and over, and Chudette used to do this all the time against many different players. Some characters can't really stop it, especially when there's like a 50 ledge grab limit for most characters and 35 in Midnight. But having 50 ledge grabs for Kirby, it's risky to stop because he can easily still time out with that, considering how slowly he builds les grabs and the fact that if he sucks you up the swallow side, kind of like what I do in Ultimate on my stream just for fun. But Kuda actually does it in tournament in both Brawl and Project M, where he just sucks you up and you just die, and you just died 0. And that pretty much works against a very large amount of the casts. And it's risky to stop because it's kind of like, it's a pretty decent hitbox, and just one interaction, you get the lead, and you can be obnoxious with it.
What Jason said pretty much is most of the character, but like going in depth on his throw follow-ups. For example, he could do things like forward throw up air to forward smash, which was like the staple generic Kirby combo. Other times, he could just like do what Jason said, where it's like forward throw up air, up tilt, up air, things like that. But like some other characters that like were fast fallers, for like example, like Fox, he could do forward throw up air, forward smash, and that like kind of obliterated Fox at times. When Kirby forward throws people, he could guarantee get a power as well. So he could do forward throw swallow and then gain a power. So it's just like, oh, you can guarantee yourself a power if you actually grab them, which was hype.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Since Kirby gets you off stage after like pretty much one throw combo, it's just like, oh, he can just go out there and edge guard you. He can rock you, he can down air you, which was another thing. Kirby's down air was extremely good in this game. But like, besides that, it's just like, it's just scary once Kirby hits you once and you're off stage, because a lot of characters can't recover. Like, Kirby hitting down air was extremely easy in Brawl compared to like most other Smash games.
I also want to mention that as a Mid-Night player, from the Mid-Night perspective, it's real easy just to like walk back and forth and wait for Kirby to act first, and you do a tilt or something, and then when they're conditioned to shield that, you just do grabs and other mix-ups. So that Mid-Night match is pretty important, and I think Mid-Night versus Kirby at optimal level play, as I showed in my set. I have many different sets I've had with Dedede over the years. In my opinion, it's an extremely easy matchup as long as you're equally as patient as your opponent. All right, and the next character will be Lucas. I mentioned in the last video how Bowser could grab release somebody and Bowser could act first. Well, kind of the reverse of that. When somebody grabs Lucas or Ness and Lucas, because they program the game, I guess they rushed the game or something. There's an oversight that Ness and Lucas get extra stun to the point that pretty much any character in the game could just grab release these characters. And some characters, like when you do it with Mid-Night, they might ground release or air release because Mid-Night's pummel isn't enough. Because when you do pummels, right after they get pummeled, they're forced to a ground release. Otherwise, it's like kind of random or based on what buttons they're pressing. If they're pressing up on the control stick or X or something. So it's like they may or may not ground release if it's like Mid-Night. But if they have a fast pummel, they always force a ground release and they get chain grabbed, or someone like Donkey Kong can like do a smash attack, or Marv could literally just do like chain grab you from 0 to death from like the middle of the stage. Lucas has a down air which can like jab block you into like basically an up smash, and he also has an up throw killer that kills at decent percents.
Lucas is another one of those technical characters where it's like, okay, well, if you know all this stuff, maybe Lucas is very dangerous. But like, for example, Lucas's basic advanced techniques would be like short hop side B, so that way there's a little less landing lag a little less lag in general than usual. He could zap jump. You would double jump, somewhat double jump cancel your PK fire, and that would send you flying upwards, like directly upwards, kind of like Ganon flying, except much faster. So you would skyrocket upwards. The PK fire would be like mid-level in the sky.
The next character I'll talk about is a character that I find very underrated and might even be better than this, even though the general perception of this character is that this character is significantly worse. I think it should be even higher than where I'm currently placing it, and I'm saying this from experience of fighting the best ones in the world. I will have Samus. Samus actually has a lot going for her, and not only have I played the best Japanese Samus, YB, but I've also talked to players like Quick from Europe, and we all think Samus is like mid-tier, basically. And this character can short hop Zair. It's the longest Zair in the game, where she throws out her grapple. It does a decent damage. I don't remember the exact damage. It does decent damage, and it has like basically no landing lag. Pretty much all the areas have no landing lag, and you still have the melee where you do the tech where you just do the missile and then land, and there's also landing lag. So you have a Zair and missiles and aerials, which all have basically no lag. You're also a very heavy character, and you have a good recovery in addition to that. And you also have an up B at a shield, and you could camp charge shot, down tilt, and a bunch of other moves. This character has a lot of tools, and I think it should be even higher, even though the general even higher than what I'm currently placing it.
The only thing is, Samus generally was a stage-based character, so stages that had platforms really helped Samus a lot because it's just like, oh well, you want to missile camp extremely hard, but to do so best would to have like platforms, so you can just drop down missile cancel. And you could just do that in rapid fire succession just by being like, oh, let me drop down missile and then like jump back on the platform, drop down missile. Like you could just keep rapid firing missiles all over the place, like up and down, and basically just create a field of just missiles everywhere. It was like very cool because just like, oh, she's actually like spamming projectiles all over the screen. It kind of felt like in her games in a way where just like you just go pew pew pew, you just shoot a bunch of missiles at the opponent, but like. Besides that, she had some interesting tech because, like, you know how there's platform canceling? Well, she could zero platform cancel. So essentially, she could shoot out her grapple, and then she could just cancel it into a platform cancel. It was really cool. So essentially, if someone was on a platform, like on Smash Bros, you could like zero their shield and cancel it at the same time with the platform cancel, and they would just be like, "Oh, you're here." As well, it helped really well with combos because you could just do like platform cancel Zaire into charge shot, and that would just pretty much obliterate them. Or you can do like whatever combo you felt like. But besides that, Samus didn't have like too many crazy technical things. She was just mostly a stage-based character.
The next character I will talk about will be Ness. Now, I've just mentioned the grab release for Lucas, so I don't need to mention it twice, but that is something that held Ness back. But Ness has a lot of good points, like his up B, which is like really, really strong. Sheik used to do really well in Florida. He was used to like be able to beat ESAM sometimes, for example. Foe did really well. He was like #1 in Vegas. He would lose to SK92 a lot, but he would do better out of region.
He's one of those characters where it's just like his moves are good, but like the extreme weakness of don't touch me with a grab is just like, it's so stupid to the point where it's just like, okay, well, it feels like this should be patched out. It's so stupid to that point where it's just like, you just feel like it should not be part of the game.
Yeah.
All his moves are generally good. Like forward air, even though you can SDI it and just punish him for it, it's just like a lot of the time you'll miss the SDI and then just get hit by the move. And then he can like double jump afterwards and do another aerial like Nair, and like he usually, you know, the Smash Ultimate where you just see Ness over there mashing like a billion aerials. Like he does things. He did things like that back then. Still, like that was the Ness classic, and he didn't have double jump cancels like that. So just like he was just like a basic character that just floats around swinging and throwing aerials. But he did have like 1 or 2 technical things, which was like he could double jump PK Fire, which was weird because like he would float towards you with the PK Fire. Like he would like kind of like in Ultimate where he jumps at you and goes PK Fire, kind of like that. But in that game, if you didn't do it right, you would go nowhere and you essentially just fall to the ground really fast. So you're able to double jump cancel that at the least.
One really good thing Ness has in Brawl is his up B. It's really good to like if Mennight's above if Ness is on the ground, Mennight's above him, or off stage at all, you can literally just up B into Mennite, and Mennite is very hard to avoid it if the Ness knows how to do it right. And Ness can also do like frame chaps where like you cover a lot of options with the up B and loop it because there's like a tail that does damage too. And if you hit the tail end of it, it doesn't actually stop it. You have to hit like the beginning, the head, the circle part of it in order to actually hit it. So it's like a win-win for Ness. You can like cover options with no risk. And Ness could up B into himself. So I cover options like a lot of the way they do it at Ultimate. And if he hits himself, you can literally like explode at like 40%. It might even be sooner at times and stuff. And it pretty much just destroys you really fast. So that's a really, really powerful part of Ness in Brawl was his up B, if I remember correctly.
That is another thing, even though this is more Meta Knight specific, because of Meta Knight's sword being like a laser sword. He can't hit it. Yeah, you couldn't hit it, so you were actually screwed.
Yeah, and even for characters that can't hit it, you can just do your up B slightly different. So like you curve it out early so that you're putting the wall. Like you're putting a wall in front of your opponent, but you do it extra early so that it curves around, and only the tail is the wall, so that you can't clank with that because you actually have to hit the beginning. You have to actually hit the ball part of it to kill it, right? Yeah, so you can you can literally just learn to up B even better and just cover options with no risk anyway, or make the risk reward so skewed in your favor that it's like broken. So anytime you're off stage or above him, he can destroy you. Not to mention he has a back throw that goes at like 100.
Yeah, he still had the legendary broken Ness back throw. It was the classic. Like, he'll never lose that.
The next character, and I think the best of the mid-tiers, would be Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is a character where his disjoints are extremely good in this game. Like his F-tilt, for example, it goes through Meta Knight's Mach Tornado almost the vast majority of the time. Like his hand, it basically, imagine his tilts and his hand, or like a lot of his limbs. It's basically like a sword. It just beats Tornado and just beats moves. It's like, it's pretty darn good. And when you consider his weight and damage output, it's really good for trades and just beating moves. So like, I used to play DK Will in tourney, and he would literally just be waiting around patiently, parachute if I do a move, or just throw out tilts randomly. If I did a tornado, the F tilt would win. If I did a forward air, I might trade 3 damage with his like 10+ damage. If I did F tilt, the way DK's body naturally arcs, since Meta Knight's F tilt and down tilt go low, DK's arcing over because of how his feet are behind where his head is at. So it beats that too. So he had some pretty decent neutral at optimal level play against Meta Knight just because of like small little details like this that you normally think are insignificant, but they add up to be like to be really good. He has really good planking. Of course, there's like a ledge guy limit, but you can actually stall off the planking. DK Will told me a big strategy of DK. You back throw him off the stage, and then if you can't edge guard them, then you just charge Giant Punch, which is really, really strong in this game. And apparently, like the last 4 windups are even stronger than the full Giant Punch in addition to that. So even stopping the Giant Punch is risky, and you can do mix-ups from there. Or characters with reverse recovery, just back throw and just do back air frame traps, kind of like I did all the time in Smash 4. So DK actually has quite a bit going for him considering all these things.
There's also the really, really, really super broken thing that Donkey Kong's got away with at some point, the Yoshi strat, where he would become super invincible. The super invincible Donkey Kong of B that no one could deal with. It's kind of like Sonic.
It's been a while.
I forgot what it was called exactly, but it was like, I guess let's just call it Invinci Kong.
Oh yeah, DK will show me some links about stuff like that.
It was really broken, and he could stall extremely hard with it. Like, it was basically Donkey Kong with Sonic. You just camp near the edges, be invincible, and you can do that for the entire game because you're on Yoshi's. There's no winning unless they want you to. Unless they want to allow you.
What do you do exactly on it?
You basically up B near the edge, and like because of some odd slip on it and your invincibility just carrying over, you become invincible for a long time, longer than usual. So essentially, you can use this with the edge and re-grab the ledge and just be like, oh, I'm super invincible.
All right, so the next character I'm going to mention, the king of timeouts in every Smash game. Y'all love him for the timeouts, just like y'all you Sonic fans. Sonic the Hedgehog, yay. All he does is run away and times you out. And notably, he actually has results. A player named X took 1 tourney match off me once and has taken Tyrant at MLG Dallas late 2010 to Game 5, last stock, last hit, and Tyrant won by like only a few damage Game 5 by timeout. And like it was a bunch of like last hit games basically. And then Tyrant lost to another Sonic, so 2 different Sonics, showing that the character itself is good and it's not just the player. SB beat Tyrant as well. So Sonic actually has results, so he in my opinion, should be either here, at least here or higher because of that. He should be either at this position or higher.
Sonic is super broken because, again, for some reason, side B has invincibility, so you can essentially use that. And as well, you can cancel your side B charge and just be like, oh, never mind. This isn't happening. You can also spin shot, which is when the Sonic charges and then goes flying across the screen. Like, you can also do that. But in Brawl, he could aerial spin dash cancel, which essentially is, let's say you're charging down B in the air. Like specifically down B, you can go flying downwards into the ground and you can just shield. The second you touch the ground, you can shield. And essentially what that means is you could, let's say, aerial spin dash cancel into someone on the ground. And then it probably does like, what, 20 damage or something-ish? It hurt. Let's just say it hurts. And then you could aerial spin dash again on them since if they got popped up. And then you could do some like Nair, which would probably do like 40 or 50 damage altogether. Something like that, basically. But as well, you could be like I believe sometimes it was like plus. Like you could aerial spin dash cancel into someone's shield, and then you could grab them. Like there was a bunch of things like that Sonic could do. So essentially, it was really fast. He was the fastest character in the game, of course. And that's why he had invincible moves. He had annoying hitbox, annoying spin dash hitbox in the air. Because like when he down Bs, he pretty much has good control over himself. So he can just like aerial spin dash in the air. And like usually because he's an active moving hitbox midair, that would hit you. And then it's just like, okay, well. Like not a lot of characters had like near permanent active hitbox midair where it's just like, oh, you get near it, you're probably gonna get hit by it if you don't like space yourself correctly. And you have to remember he was fast, so when he does this, it's just like, oh, he's in the space he wants to be already. So the Sonics would usually maneuver around like all the time. They would just be like, oh, let me side B over here, let me jump over here, let me up B over here, let me spin and dash downwards over here, active hitbox, let me aerial spin dash cancel on your shield, let me grab you. Like they continuously do this over and over and over again. You're just like, I can't touch this character at all. If you actually learn the matchup, you can just wait for him to spin dash. Like you can just bait out his spin dash because like, for example, if he's charging side B, he still has to go upwards. So the hitbox doesn't even touch you instantly. So all you have to do is move backwards and pivot grab. Pivot grabbing was actually extremely useful. But if you didn't have that, depending on your character, you could just hold jab and stop his spin dash. A lot of characters could do that.
So super duper matchup based.
Yeah, it was pretty matchup based.
You ever have counterplay or you just get bodied if you don't have to lead?
Like one of the most funny classic matches for Sonic, well, in my opinion, was Sonic versus Lucario, for example. Sonic would just hit Lucario like once and then just run. Don't even touch him.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Because it was just like if you try.
That must be so annoying and boring and frustrating for both players.
Yes, it is. Because it's like Sonic.
So the optimal play was zero fun for both Sonic and Lucario. Next character is Sheik, and Salem is crazy for thinking Sheik is this high. But I mean,
I'm not crazy.
Everyone else thinks Sheik is much lower than this, but Salem was very convinced that Sheik is right here. So I'm gonna first mention that Sheik has some really broken things, and you can F-tilt lock Fox and Falco even better against Fox. Over and over and over to basically 0 to def them, or maybe not quite 0 to def, but you can get like 80 damage, 0 to 80 or something.
80 or 90 or
like 0 to 80 basically on just by F-toting Fox, and then not as much on Falco, but still a whole lot of damage on Falco. And if you also you can grab Meta Knight at like 80% or 80 something, and then do a grab release, stack his up smash, and it's 100% guaranteed unless you mess up, or unless I think maybe landing on platform or something. I remember. So that stuff was really good. I once had a money match with Mr. R, because me and Mr. R were going back and forth in friendlies. Meta versus Sheik, because he just keep killing me 80. And then we had a money match. I won all 5 games, but it was like 5 games that I could have just lost. Yeah. So I was like, even though I won all 5, it was like I could have lost any of them, because I just kept dying at such low percents. And then Sheik has actually good neutral. So, like, actually good neutral.
I'd also like to add that I took a 1 game off of Jason with Sheik.
Was it friendly?
Yes, I took 1 game. Specifically,
one lifetime friendly?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to add that.
What's our sample size?
It was like probably like 1 to 10, but I was able to do it.
It was like 10.
Sheik can actually lock a lot of characters. That's the thing, and as well as she has like somewhat intricate combos. Her moves are actually like safe on shield. So she can actually just be like, oh yeah, I can do the melee. Let me just go swat. Or she can do the smash for either. Just be like forward air jab, and you're just like, wait, I couldn't grab this. As any character, by the way. Or she could do the classic forward air down smash. That was another thing. In this game, she had a tether recovery. Her little whip, her little whip thing, yeah, her little chain. She could just grab the ledge with that, which helped a lot because it's like a lot of times Sheiks would just die because they don't use that move, or they don't use it fast enough. Even though it's like slightly disjointed, like most tether recoveries in that game were slightly disjointed. So it was like kind of like decisive whether or not you could like grab the ledge from like a far distance, but usually most of the time you could just grab the ledge from far away and it didn't really matter. So her recovery wasn't bad either. The crazy thing about her chain was that depending on the controller, I guess, or how fast you are, you could essentially turn the whip into a chainsaw. It was really jank, but like usually what I would do was use a nunchuck, because like you could use the pad to basically wiggle the chain a little bit, and like that small wiggle counted as like 1 hit. So I would just tap down on the pad, which was like, I guess, smash attack or something. And if someone was close to you, when you threw out the chain, you could essentially do like instant 40 damage in like 1 second or less than a second. However, behind you, if you put the whip behind you, you could chainsaw them and it would do like 100 damage. Sometimes even more than that. Maybe they skyrocket to like 300 damage or 200 damage, depending on how fast and well you do it. But either way, it was extremely broken and dangerous. And then afterwards, there was the other glitch. The extremely dangerous and scary glitch to do. So essentially, there was a way to create a jacket on her chain. It was dangerous because it could freeze the game. However, you could put pretty much any move onto your chain. So you could essentially be like, okay.
Oh, I remember something like this.
Yes, it's dangerous. You could do like forward air, and then you short hop, and as you're descending down on a very specific frame, you can throw out the chain, and now it has that hitbox.
And the next character will be Wolf. I just want to mention that I talked to some players that play Wolf. For example, Seagull Joe believes Wolf is 13 to 15 in the game, which is significantly higher than I have him. However, then Larry Lurr, I messaged, and he told me that he used to use Wolf in Tourney 2, and he dropped him because he thinks he loses to all the good characters, and he thinks Wolf is not a high tier, and he thinks Wolf is a mid tier. So Wolf has like some pretty decent smash attacks, but it's kind of weird. Like F smash goes really far, but if you're too close, it'll just miss. Like the first hit's supposed to combo to the second because it lunges really far, but it only actually works at mid and far range. It doesn't work at point blank range a lot of time.
Yeah, like the move is weird because you can tech it. If you're very close to someone, you can actually hold down against the forward smash and tech. So essentially, the move can be randomly useless in a number of ways, and it's just like it's not too good of a move just because of that. So essentially, it's just like things like down smash and up smash are like the go-to smash attacks.
Also, Wolf's best move is probably back air. Now, I want to say that his back air and down smash are extremely good moves, and unlike Ultimate, they come out really, really fast. Like in Ultimate, the back air and down smash, it takes quite a while to come out. In Brawl, the back air is not quite as strong as the strongest part of back air in Ultimate, but it's probably way better overall because it comes out so fast, and the down smash also is strong and comes out so fast. And he has a pretty good laser too, so he still has a lot of really good moves. He's not quite as good as the one in Ultimate overall, but those moves in particular are quite amazing.
His reflector also has an invincibility on it too. So like sometimes you would see Wolves just like shine to get out of their problems. They would just be like, "Oh, Meta Knight's about to shuttle me. I'm just gonna."
Oh
shine
yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Like,
the
every time Wolves were above me, they would just like shine. So I just like, okay, I should just wait for them to shine first.
Yeah,
they do it so often.
It was the only way for them to escape sometimes because it's like, oh, air dodging.
Really good mix-up.
Yeah, like air dodging was like, ugh. So sometimes they would just shine instead, and that's why it would hit you. So
next character will be Toon Link. Now, a lot of people think I'm putting Toon Link too low, but me and Salem don't think he's so great. And I'll be honest, one of the reasons is probably because I have a Midnight perspective, and a Dedede's perspective. But I mean, Dedede can chain grab Toon Link, and then Midnight just destroys him. And even Toon Link say that like they have a really bad Midnight matchup, and they're pretty good at when he's not fighting Midnight. But I think that matters a lot, and I don't even think he'd be that much better otherwise. I feel like, in my personal opinion, I think he's kind of overrated. But he does have a lot going for him. Like he can, as Salem said in the last video for Link, you could air dodge and Zair. Like there's a lot of really good things for defensively for Brawl. You could like short hop. You could have a bomb. You could take a bomb in your hand. You could short hop. Then you can air dodge and be invincible while still holding the ball in your hand. And then you could either just let the explosion hit them, or you could also do like Zair to like at any moment to cancel your air dodge into an actual attack. So you actually have mix-ups and safe options that you can use. So you have some really good defensive options with that.
The only other thing that Toon Link has besides all that stuff is like he can basically short hop double arrow, because like he has the quick arrow. Just when you're about to touch the ground, you quick arrow and it shoots the arrow instantly. So for Toon Link, you could be like arrow, arrow, and that would cover like, it would basically be like doing like double laser with Falco. But like, it sucks. It's the sucky version of that. You could do a landing arrow and it would shoot one way, but you would face the other way. So you could essentially be like, oh, I can just face this way and be able to back air immediately afterwards. it was like really small jank tech, and as well as like you could just make it more advanced just by wave bouncing on whatever else. So you can just be an arrow would just come out of my back, and now I can just back air easily. Like it's just small jank things like that.
So next would be Squirtle. Now Squirtle is pretty darn good, but here's the thing. This is assuming a theoretical situation where it's Squirtle only and he doesn't get fatigue.
If Squirtle had no fatigue, that would mean his down throw is always fresh, and his down throw is a kill throw.
What does it kill, like 100-ish?
100, 120-ish, something
Yeah,
like
like
that.
110, yeah.
And then you get sent upwards. But on characters that were light, that was just like, yikes. They would just explode.
And his like side B was really good, and his aerials were just really good. I remember.
He had like aerial mobility similar to Wario, basically. As well, he had like crazy combos because like he would like forward air you, and then he would just start up tilting you. It was kind of like a ultimate Squirtle, except instead of grabbing, he just beats you up just with moves just straight up.
Dude, honestly, I think that if Squirtle could be top tier if the theoretical Squirtle was that like if you could just play Squirtle only,
yeah,
and he never gets tired, I think that's like theoretical top 10.
Yeah,
he might maybe like Wario-ish level.
Yeah, he'd be pretty much like there, because like the thing is, he still has the grab release
Oh
problem.
yeah,
so it's like he's pretty much like
I forgot that.
He's pretty much Wario number 2. But
so does Wario, yeah.
But the cool thing about the Squirtle is that he has Flood, and as well, Squirtle had a very odd forward smash that had like armor on it.
Oh yeah.
So he could just be like, I'll just forward smash this guy's move. I don't care.
Yeah, I remember
and they would just be like, ow.
And the next character will be Mr. Game & Watch. So, interesting about Game Watch is everyone who doesn't live on East Coast thinks the character is really bad, and everybody who's played Vinny and Vex, who are probably the best two Game Watches, Vinny's probably best and Vex is second best, probably, thinks he's good. So I've talked to like Atomisk, I've talked to Anti, I've talked to Salem, I've talked to Vex and a lot of other people, and they think Game Watch could be anywhere between like 10 to 15 in the game, for example. Like the back air, you could like SDI it, but at the same time, it also had like super extra low landing lag, and then the Nair, it's like similar to Ultimates, but it's like you get shield poked more in Brawl. At least Menate got shield poked a lot. It's like sometimes Menate could just get shield poked by the Nair and the back air if his shield wasn't like full. And you could also down throw down smash, but it's kind of gimmicky because like you had to rely on the missing tech, but it wasn't that free anyway. If Menate tornadoes Game Watch can sometimes just DI up and then up B, and that pushes Menate up. It's depending on the situation. Menate might even be able to get punished for it sometimes.
Game Watch also had the super broken up air that made people float in the air.
Oh, and Bucket Break.
And he had bucket breaking.
And Bucket could kill at 0. And Bucket was really good. King Bucket kill at 0 at
It was
times.
powerful. It was scary. But it's just
I remember
like...
it being like extra broken doubles.
It was extremely broken doubles. Like me and Vex used to team and do like Game Watch 0 soon. And if I
Game Watch has so many ways.
Bucket,
Has so many ways to kill at 0 in doubles.
Yeah, this was like what a frame 2 move. So he only needs to do like one aerial into like down beam, then you just.
Oh, if only I had that in Ultimate.
He has a sword. Oh, he has multi hits. Oh, he has smash attacks are like really, really, really scary and dangerous and can just straight up kill you. They're safe, and then as well as just like he has up B. Like he can just start flying if he really wants to. And just be, oh, let me just up B and just like float down here and just like I'm good. Like he has all these very good moves basically. He just has a lot of good moves. And then there's the part where if he grabs you, he can down throw you, and you can tech and roll. But some characters' rolls suck. Really suck. Like for example, if Game Watch grabs Olimar's roll sucks and he doesn't really go far, so you could just be like down throw and then like down smash, and they are probably screwed.
And next character will be R.O.B. Now R.O.B, it's interesting. He has some moves better than Ultimate, although most are worse. One notable move that's better is F-Tilt. F-Tilt goes really, really far, and then his back air comes out significantly faster than you. So like you could short hop fair and then just back air, and it's like it easily works. And it's still pretty strong. The side beat doesn't work at all, so don't use side beat ever.
In my opinion, this character is super overrated.
Dude, I think he's overrated
the
too.
only reason,
I just said everyone else doesn't.
In my opinion, the only reason he's up there is because you lost that one time. That's
dude,
it.
I actually think I think R.O.B's overrated too.
Like the thing I guess that R.O.B has is Nair, because it's just like, oh, safe, safe, up Nair, safe. Every time something happens, Nair, safe. I guess people got triggered by that and just like, okay, I guess this character's broken because he does Nairs and there's nothing I can do about it.
And the next character we're going to talk about is one that I personally find extremely underrated, Pit. So I first want to say that if you've never went to Japan, you're not going to think Pit's good, because the only good Pits in the world, or the best 3 at least, even without including Earth, all the best Pits live in Japan. I say this from personal experience because I've basically traveled everywhere in the USA, Canada, and Japan. Anyway, I have a pretty good sample size of data. So Pit has a lot going for him. He has a pretty decent side B. He can actually plank. He can fly under the stage. If there wasn't a ledge grab limit, he'd be extra broken. He'd probably be like he'd be super top tier. He'd definitely be top tier without question if there wasn't a ledge grab limit because it was really broken. And only the 50 ledge grab limit puts that into effect. Back air kills Meta Knight, like, I don't remember exactly. It's been a while, but like at like 90% middle stage or something.
Strong.
And arrows come out really fast. They shoot really fast. You can aim them really fast. Earth was like a master of this, and like no matter where you're at on the stage, if Earth read your movement or predicted it or just guessed right or just anything, you were just hoping he doesn't guess right, and you can just keep shooting arrows, and it can hit him no matter where you are, as long as you have the skill to do it.
He can chain grab. He has chain grabs that lead to footstool combos. He has down air shenanigans. He has small technical things like he can up B cancel. Essentially, he can wave dash with it too. He can cancel his up B by running off the edge. Like, not to mention that has a wind effect on it. So essentially, you could like blow away things, so you can just be like, oh, this guy is approaching me and trying to space this move. Let me just blow him away. So you can just do that. If he got hit out his up B, he just dies, but you had like extreme control over that move, like actual extreme control. So it's just like, oh, you can very easily just not die if you really want to. But besides that, he could as well, like, he also had a tech where he could slide with his side B, where he goes, ha ya ya ya. Like the most annoying sounding move ever.
Don't jump when you do that.
Yeah, but the thing about that was, like, you can actually jump, but it had to be at a very specific height. If you do it at a very specific height and land, he does it in the air, and then he slides forwards at you with it. So there was mix-ups with that.
Next, I will talk about Fox. Now, if you haven't played TKD's Fox, most people are probably going to think Fox ain't that great, but I have, and I've seen him beat Larry Lure. I've seen him beat Tyrant many times, often like even sometimes 2-stock even, and winning many sets. I've played him myself when we went back and forth, so like I know what top level Fox is. And he has his good areas, like down air is good, nair is good. He can still up smash. He can laser camp you, like laser camping. It's not nearly as good as a melee, but it's still like a lot better than what most characters have, because it's like, hey, you have to approach me.
One of the techniques that some Foxes use is just like triple laser, and triple laser essentially shoots like 2 lasers up here, 1 laser down here. So it's just like it covers most things, and as well because you didn't do triple laser in the air, you don't really have lag like that. So essentially, you can just keep poking people doing just small bits of damage. Like, he generally does like the general dash attack, down air things, like basically things like that, except like more early. Because like down air, for example, you can do down air up tilt, and then they're just like, I'm getting up tilted and up tilted and up tilted, and then just like they just get basic frame trap, kind of like an ultimate. Like, it's just things like that. But like, he doesn't have any kill throws or anything. It's just his main thing is that he has up smash. His up smash state is strong, like really strong, and you can just die. You can just die at 100, just straight up. Sometimes 90 even. It has a little bit of startup, but as well as it's a very strong move, so like it can beat like grounded moves and just kill you, and as well as somewhat anti-airs. But like, for example, if they're like too close to you, they can't really do it. Like, the best they could do is just like do it in place. But like, for example, if they're like a bit close to you but not too close, where they have to like dash up smash, you could essentially just hold jab in that spot and it would interrupt the up smash. Like, things like that. Like, he was consistent on that part where just like, your moves don't get stale, you can actually kind of spam the things you want to without having to worry about the game's stale moves mechanics. And that was like really good for him.
And the next character will be Peach. Now, Peach is a little interesting because at the end of... I was talking to ADC about this, and he told me that Peach could potentially be top 5, he thinks. Now, I know it's a bold statement, and I don't agree with it, but it just shows that, like, wow, maybe we're underrating Peach after all. Because a player named Key from Japan was actually being able to beat 9B, QB, from the best ICs, was in Japan. And apparently, ADC told me, I haven't looked this up myself to see if it's true or not, but he told me he's beaten Tori too, and has done well versus other Midnights, so Peach isn't that bad against Diddy. Peach isn't like that bad against like the other top tiers, and Peach beats the Ice Climbers and only loses to Midnight, but it's not like the worst matchup ever. Like, it's definitely it's definitely solidly Midnight's favorite. But I mean, if Key's beaten all these top Midnights and Tori before, it can't be the worst ever.
The thing about Peach is like, she is one of those characters that has possible infinite potential because her turn-ups, her float cancels, a bunch of invincible technical things. But first, I'll start with what Peaches started doing more towards the end of Brawl, which is the Invincifloat, which essentially is when they're on the ledge and they have invincibility, they can essentially do a ledge jump, and then they can immediately float and land on the ground. And what this does is pretty much transfers invincibility onto you, and you're on the ground. So you can do any attack and it'll be invincible for like a small period of time. So from what I've seen was they started using this and abusing this versus Meta Knight, because sometimes they would try and tornado at them, and then they would just immediately grab the ledge and invincible float back on stage, and the tornado would just go right through them, just straight right through them, and then they would just do like any attack and just break the tornado. And
they got a melee ledge dash?
Yes, they literally have melee ledge dash, except it's easier. She could also chain grab, like she also could like do footstool combos. Like she had a bunch of stuff. Like she had like guaranteed turn up shield traps. Like for example, if she's Z drops a turn up on your shield, she can get a guaranteed grab or a guaranteed follow up on your shield. So even if you were like Marth, for example, who loves doing up out of shield, it didn't really matter. Even if you were to power shield, it wouldn't matter, because it's just like, oh, she's still positive, or she's zero on your shield because that turn up. And then there's other things like, oh, what if she gets a broken turn up? Of course, we're not gonna include all that, because like in Brawl, it was more unlikely for you to get a broken turn up. Her only problem was that she stalled forward air very easily, because it was just like that straightforward move that hit everything. Like there was somewhat at a point where it's just like Peaches tried to focus more on like back air and nairs, but it's just like they don't have as much range as like forward air.
Alright, the next character I have will be Lucario. Now, I think Lucario is a ridiculously good character. I've even talked to Anti, and he thinks Lucario is even one spot higher than this, being 11 in the game, but we will have him as 12 in the game. Lucario is really good because R in this game is really strong, and there's a lot of ways to kill. Like
really strong.
Like it's pretty comparable to like the Smash 4 Lucario, except like yeah, I would say it's pretty comparable to Smash 4 Lucario. It's not like Ultimate Lucario, where Ultimate Lucario just sucks. But the R in this game, like there was no rage, but the R itself was really strong. And if your character doesn't kill early, it can like obliterate you. Even if you're outplaying Lucario really badly, if you get him to 170 and he outplays you and like he does a max R spear and then smash attacks you or back airs you, you could literally just die in as early as 2 or 3 interactions, even if you won the last 15 interactions. So like just by not closing out the stock, it only takes one thing, and then he could just hit you again, and then it can like the R spear, when it's really big, it goes below the stage. So like that's like really good, and it covers so many options. And the back air just deletes you. F smash deletes you. You can R spear charge on somebody, and then you can combo that into up smash and just delete somebody's stock. And you also have a command grab to even make it scarier, so you can't just hold shield, and that command grab also obliterates you and like destroys you.
One thing about that command grab is that you can actually break out of it. You have to mash really, really quickly, which is funny because
I've never done that or seen that. I follow Lucario's in training all the time.
You have to really, really mash. You can easily tell if a move will kill of his. If it's just like, it would depend on which way he's facing. Because for example, if he's turned around, he's gonna back air. Back air will kill you even if he's like at 0% no aura. But if he's facing towards you, there is nothing for you to worry about. Like let's say you're on a platform, he doesn't really have anything to kill you except back air. So there's actually nothing to worry about. And then you can plank, you can platform camp, you can just straight up run away from him and roll around. You can just spot dodge, you can air dodge, you can actually waste his time for as long as possible.
Alright, and the next character we'll talk about is King Dedede. Now King Dedede is an interesting case because he's notably loses pretty hard to Meta Knight, even worse to Ices, and then even worse to Falco, or like he's bad versus both. So like he gets bodied by Ices and Falco and also loses to Meta Knight. So that's not very good, but I mean, here's the thing. He can chain grab so many characters. Like he has an even matchup with Snake, and it's winning at low level and it's even at top level, and he can even chain grab Marth, and he can chain grab Wario, he can chain grab Diddy Kong, I don't remember on Ices, and he can pretty much chain grab like more than half the cast below him. And he also has a 16 damage back throw, so even if you can like forward throw off the stage for like 12 damage, a down throw, and if they DI in, you can chain grab or down tilt or F tilt or stuff, and then down throw chain grab most of the cast, which is the most important thing, more than half the cast, and the back throw itself did like 16 point something
It
damage.
hurt. It did too much damage.
And just your moves in general are really strong. Like the backer is really good for edge guarding. It's basically like better Donkey Kong. Like the backer, it has good disjoint and it lingers for a long time. Your hammer moves, like a lot of them have good range, good disjoints, like forward air hit and F tilt. They're just like good moves. Down throw at the edge against some of our characters. He's basically the gatekeeper character, where like he clearly has less potential than the characters above him on the tier list, but he also negates many characters. He can basically be compared to like a melee Sheik, but melee Sheik's better.
His spot dodge was somewhat stupid.
Yeah, because Z-axis.
Yep. And then he also had really jank broken moves like up tilt. Because like part of his head was invincible or something like that. Like, and it was pretty strong. So sometimes he would try and land, or
He
like,
can beat up Menace Tornado with it.
yeah, he can just break moves or just straight up beat moves.
Oh, you can literally just wait for the up tilt, but yeah.
Oh, he can just back air you. He can just forward tilt at you. He can just he can just be like, oh, I have an invincible move called up tilt. Oh, let me just spot dodge your attacks because I'm gonna spot dodge and Z axis at the same time. Let me just like do a back throw and do so, like 1 billion damage, and then just start wall of painting back airs at you, and you're just like, oh well, I guess I'm dead. Like many things he could do.
So yeah. Thanks for watching our video, guys, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And in tomorrow's video, we're going to release the top 10 Brawl characters in order. See you guys then.
See ya.